tell me, what is Inseego Subscribe and why does it matter for operators?
So Inseego Subscribe is a lifecycle management platform for complex enterprise and government that allows carriers to sell quicker and compete better, more efficiently for complex enterprise and government business by providing all of the compliance, all of the self-service tools that's needed to really manage the complex, much more complex than consumer, for example, life cycles and workflow of enterprise and government.
What is the biggest challenge that this is solving for operators other than the complexity?
I think primarily giving the self-service tools to reduce basically cost of customer acquisition. So customer acquisition in enterprise and government is quite high. And to better compete more efficiently and reduce that cost, we provide a lot of self-service tools across the personas involved in the process to reduce and introduce more self-service into the process so that it's more efficient and lower cost.
That sounds like something that they certainly want to achieve. I mean, so talk to me about how this fits into Inseego's longer term vision. Where does this fit in your strategy?
Yeah, so we're building the wireless edge, so we're now able to offer carriers not just fixed wireless access devices for connectivity at the edge of the network, but also network management, as well as cloud services to help them serve the enterprises and government customers that they serve.
I think there's been an update recently to Inseego Subscribe. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what changes you made and why?
Yeah, so we've made a very exciting change and update. We've launched our next generation of Inseego Subscribe, which now has a revised user experience that helps operators basically sell quicker, compete better for enterprise and government, and reduce the costs to serve those segments by giving them self-service tools and intuitive experiences.
Why is speed to selling important? Why in those specific markets you mentioned enterprise, you mentioned government, why does this make a difference for them?
Well, it takes a long time sometimes to quote and win the business. They're very different from consumer business, and so sometimes there's approval processes involved, there is a lot of competition involved, and so this gives carriers better tools to compete for that business and to configure price and quote and win deals quicker and at a larger scale.
So even though there's an RFP process, time is still of the essence.
Oh, always.
Okay.
Yes.
So where are things heading over the next 12 months? What is the long-term vision for this?
So we're laying down the foundation for the evolution from SaaS to agentic workflows. In future, natural language interfaces will probably become more prominent. We see that in consumer already with things like ChatGPT. So we expect that to also be the expectations from enterprise and government. And so in future, we'll see a lot of the what today is like SaaS construct moving into more agentic, dynamic business logic that basically you'll be able to converse, and then the dynamic agentic workflows will be on the fly created in order to fulfill, say for example, you want to inquire, hey, where's my order? Or you know, if you want to basically understand something about where you're, or introduce a new policy, for example, that could be dynamically written on the fly at the back end using agentic workflows, as opposed to what today is predetermined, pre-written SaaS business logic.
So it sounds a little bit more proactive rather than reactive, and very much more responsive and flexible.
That's right, very dynamic. You don't have to kind of think about all of the scenarios in advance. An agentic automated workflow could figure out, write code on the fly, and then execute an interface into legacy BSS systems in order to update those and basically return back in natural language a answer to the inquiry.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.